Hi, Milas. Thank you for joining me today. I have a good one because I'm going to talk about everything you need to know to travel to Mexico during a pandemic. I hope you'll join me.
Every single day, I'm gonna make something great. That's my way. Every single day, I'm gonna make something great.
All right, thank you, Milas, for joining me today. And it might be a little noisy. I am in Central, but before we get started, I would love to thank you very much, Ritzy D, for my coffee today. And you know who you are. Appreciate that. And I want to give a shout out to my homegirl from Chicago. You know who you are. Let's see. This is Kim, and I'm going to quote her because as we talk about travel, she says this is her quote: "I am a global citizen." So I'm going to borrow her quote, and that is from Kim in Chicago. All right, so now let's get started. We're going to talk about 7 things in a report that I'll leave a link to below from Travel and Leisure. And this is specific to those of you who have left comments saying that you will be taking a trip shortly, either in the fall or in the winter. So this information is something you can use, but it is specific pertaining to Cancun. I cannot give you information of all of Mexico, but as you know from the travel series, if you have seen the links and watched for the last month or so, I just returned and it feels so good to be back in front of the camera. Let's get started with number 1. Is Cancun safe to visit right now? And the answer is yes. I'll quote the article. It was the first destination in the Americas and one of the first to receive the Safe Travels Global Safety and Hygiene stamp from the World Travel and Tourist Council. Mexico government decided that tourist attractions in Mexico cannot be closed because the people here rely on tourism, and if they don't work, they don't eat. So Mexico is open for travel. Safety protocols at the time of my visit are in place and they are strictly reinforced. However, social distancing was non-existent simply because of the crowds that came. So Cancun, Isla Mujeres, Tulum, Cozumel, any of those places are going to be crowded because they're popular, right? Okay, let's get to number 2. Are Americans allowed to go to Cancun right now? Yes. Emphatically yes. Here's another quote from the article. The U.S. travel advisory for Mexico is down to a level 2, okay, calling on visitors to exercise increased caution. And I would advise you to just do that on a regular basis, no matter where you go, no matter where you are. Because of this new variant, we should all exercise caution on a daily basis. Yes, I have my mask, but I am surrounded by open air. I am at an open air outdoor cafe with one of my favorite waiters. I'll leave a picture and a link to a selfie with him at the end of this video. So in keeping with number 2, I put in I'm going to kind of interject my opinion. Keep in mind that Cancun in particular is orange on the epidemiological map, and that means that cases are rising. So that's why the mask mandate is reinforced. Mexico relies on tourism, so it is open, but they do enforce safety protocols and practice safety measures when you're indoors. I had no problem complying with safety, either at the airport or at the tourist attractions. No problem at all. Okay, now that brings us to number 3 in this report. What is it like to fly to and from the Cancun airport. Dun, dun, dun. I traveled via Volaris with no issues, okay, and for the airplane or the airline. However, the airport was a nightmare, as could be expected, right, with everyone deciding after 2 years of lockdown to travel. Whew, my story at the airport, you had to fill out this declaration form, and instead of handing it to you when you walked in, I already had my seat, so the people that I was traveling with had to go and check in and get their seat confirmation and all that, and then we were told we had to stand in another line to fill out this form. No distancing, okay? And after standing in line, I was kind of separated from my party because they were in a separate line. Make a long story short, we did all of that, nearly missed our flight because we was cutting it really close. You know, I'm one that likes to get there early and sit at the gate so that I can hear the announcements and, you know, not have to worry about anything, relax, drink a coffee. Anyhow, we were cutting it really, really close, and they didn't even check our forms. So I'm going to give you a better way to do that. See, at the time that I went on my vacation to that area, this health form was not required. Now it is a requirement. And the good thing about it is you can fill the health declaration form out online. I would suggest you do that ASAP as soon as you know your flight information, because you can fill that out, have it printed, or have it a copy of it on your phone, and then that will save you some steps, some headaches, some heartaches, some stress, and standing in line. Get to the airport early. Don't chance it, because now that things are changing on a daily basis, it's better to be safe than sorry. If they recommend 2 hours, I would get there earlier than that, because things are changing on a daily basis. And trust me, you want to take some snacks with you. Thank God I had peanut butter and jelly, because I had purchased bread and jelly and peanut butter for my hotel room, because why? It goes good with coffee and it staves off hunger. I was so thankful to have that sandwich and a bottle of water with me, because as I was standing in line waiting to get to the station to fill out the form, I was able to eat that sandwich. Now here's the other thing. We know we keep our mask on, but there's ways that you can, kind of eat and put your mask on, or step aside a little bit so that you're not directly eating in front of anyone. But I highly recommend having. I also had like a little small Planters peanut can with me, and I ate some of that in the airport as well as on the plane. Don't get impatient with the airport staff. I'm going to say that again. Courtesy goes a long way. I was very anxious to tell the lady in my broken Spanish, please, ma'am, I filled out the form. Do I have to get back in line? And that was required. And she said, yes. I said, ma'am, my flight. She said, well, when is your flight? And I showed her the confirmation of the flight on my phone. She said, oh no, you're by yourself, right? She was going to let me through. I said, no, I have 3 others that are in my party. She said, you guys are going to be late. Can you find them now? Little did I know that the people traveling with me had filled out the form, and they were standing in a separate line. But needless to say, we met up and we were able to but we were cutting it very close. So just be courteous. I'll also tell you that people are standing around that work. The airport staff will walk around and ask you, do you need help? I said no the first time. And then when I tried to log in my phone and could not access the Wi-Fi, I realized I do need some help. So with a smile and as humbly as I could, I asked one of the staff, please, can you help me? She said, ma'am, what do you need? How can I help you? I said, Wi-Fi, please. And then, she looked on my phone, and when I could not connect, I saw her share the connection as a staff member, right? I would have had to pay for Wi-Fi. She actually took my phone, shared, I guess, via Bluetooth from her phone, the internet connection, and then said, now try your Wi-Fi, please. And I was able to connect. So I was grateful for that. But again, service with a smile. And if you don't do that, I've heard horror stories of people that were treated negatively by staff because of their negative attitude. That's just a word to the wise. Okay, number 4, what is it like getting around Cancun right now. Okay, I recommend all-inclusive packages. I'll do another video on that, okay, just to give you some options to look at. The airport shuttle is usually included in all-inclusives. That's why I say that. We had some nightmares get around by taxi because the taxi drivers kind of just raise and lower their prices on a whim, because they know you have to get around. So not all of the taxi cab drivers are honest, and that can cause you extra fees unnecessarily. There is a mask mandate getting around, depending on where you go and when you go. So just comply. You could get fined or go to jail if you are in an area where the cases are rising and you hear the announcement to wear the mask and you choose to take it off. I have seen the security guards and police personnel tapping people on the shoulder to remind them, and with a stern look on their face. So remember, these are mandates, but that's the price you pay to be able to travel in a beautiful land. Now I'm going to kind of pivot a little bit because I want you to see some of the beauty while I'm talking. Okay, so you can focus more on the beauty than on me. Oh, also with getting around, you could get trip insurance with your flight. That's always recommended. And then watch out for Airbnbs, because they tend to raise their prices and you might be able to beat that. And I have, again, heard horror stories, one in particular of a lady who traveled with her family. There were about 7 in her party. When they arrived at a spot on the west coast of Mexico, their Airbnb was non-existent. No keys, no nothing. All communication with that host ceased with no notice. So just be careful with that. Make sure that you look for a recommended host on Airbnb. Number 5, what is it like staying at an all-inclusive resort? Resorts are getting rave reviews online. I was not at an all-inclusive, but I wish I had stayed at one. You can search on TripAdvisor and read the reviews. They are getting really good reviews. What are the beaches like? At the time of our visit, the sargassum was increasing, especially in Playa del Carmen, and that made for an unpleasant experience because it smells, and the beach, certain parts of the beach were not accessible because of that. So you might want to watch for that. Again, search. It depends on when you go. I believe the situation with the seaweed is usually at its worst between June, July, and August. Maybe if you go before June or after August, you might be able to avoid all that. All right, getting to my let's see, what is it like? The beaches, dining and shopping. We all want to know about that, right? I'm going to show you a picture of the place, my favorite place that I ate just exploring. It was not on my itinerary. Sometimes you get a happy coincidence just by walking and exploring, right? That happened to me several times, but I'll show a picture of this place, restaurant and bar in Tulum. It was excellent. And I believe it was like a specialty dish that had avocado and included with handmade tortillas, and then he even had a specialty drink that he recommended and paired with the meal, and I took his suggestion and I was happy for it. And since they were so welcome and hospitable, I stayed and just lingered and ordered several cups of coffee and got a chance to chat with fellow expats who were visiting the same bar, and the NBA finals were on at that time, and we talked and chatted about the game. It was wonderful. I highly recommend that you just explore and drop in just to experience. The dining and shopping vendors are everywhere for whatever you want, from shopping to knickknacks to sandals. I have a happy experience about that. I had my first experience to haggle to lower the price for a beautiful pair of leather sandals in Cancun, and all in Spanish. So I was excited. The bottom line was he tried to give me a sale price, which I thought was too high, and I showed him the sandals that I had, which I had purchased from Liverpool that I was wearing that day. And bottom line was I kind of quoted him half in cash. He said, "Show me the money." And when I showed him the money, I was able to get it for half of what he was asking for, using some broken Spanish. Let's see. There's food in the dining to suit every taste. I guess I'll leave a picture to another place where we went, which was right on the beach in Isla Mujeres. All types of bars, anything that you would want to eat. They try to entertain every palate. Prices are reasonable, and to suit the American tourist, there's something for everyone, no matter what you care to eat. So those are 7 tips that I hope you will read in the article below, and let me know where you're planning to go to. Are you planning to go to the Cancun area to visit the Mexican Caribbean? Have you seen some of the videos? I tried to go in order of the places that I went to visit, but I believe you'll be pleasantly surprised and you'll have a wonderful time. Just remember to take it one day at a time, be safe, and keep it simple. Thank you for joining me today as we talk about travel, and until next time, talk to you later, milers.